you tell yourself that it's just like a temporary thing. Like, things are going
to get you over this hump.
Yeah, things are going to turn around, whatever. But it is such a warning sign. And anytime that we've done that, in retrospect, I always wish like we should have made massive changes right then and there.
This is a message brought to you by Patrick and Dale from Challengers Comics. It's pretty good.
In the Midwest, the best is there waiting. So come and join the conversation. Highs to approved, fan and artist and creator too. What? This is how the challengers do. What? Keep the conversation moving along. Keep reading comics, keep your local store strong. It gets hard and it's a job for the challengers. What? Comics and conversation, y'all.
From Challengers Comics in Chicago,
this is Contest of Challengers, a comics industry business podcast with
Patrick Brower.
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 Patrick Brower and W. Dal Bush.
W. Dal Bush.
Dal Bush.
Dal Bush.
Dal.
Dal. Dal.
Dal.
W. Dal Bush.
It's no secret, at least to you, and I think I've mentioned this before, but I always kind of wanted to be a publisher.
Mm-hmm.
And by that, I mean, I wanted to publish my friends' books or books that I like, or like a vanity label.
You wanted to be your own Tundra.
Yeah, exactly.
Where you had a bunch of money and you could like publish people's books and you could pay people a good rate. You could get stuff out on the market, not have to worry about, what's profitable or what's...
I used Top Shelf as my guide when I was coming up with all of this, including where I got my name from, which I won't talk about now. Who knows, maybe one day. But I mean, literally, at the point I have money to be a publisher, it would be because I just have money. It's never like a financial endeavor. As you just pointed out, it would be just for fun. And the idea of doing that, it's still neat. It would still be fun to take like, hey, these people that have always had this dream of having a book out, let me put it out.
Yeah. People whose work you like that you feel like is underappreciated, I guess.
Underseen?
Underseen is not a word.
Underexposed
is a good one.
I think underseen should be a word. But then it's just a matter of, printing and housing and distribution, blah, blah. Anyway, so it's most likely never going to happen. Also, I'm getting too old to follow that kind of a dream.
Sure. I mean, even like the people who have had that kind of model, like at Koyama Press, they usually only last about 5 years before they're just like, this is really hard.
Yeah.
It is not profitable. And it's also a ton of work. And you just decide you don't want to do it anymore.
Annie Koyama and I have been internet friends for years now, but we've never actually met.
Oh, that's nice. I mean, not meeting part. You could
No, I know.
fix that.
But then you look at the people that do this and do it way better than I ever could and fill a niche and have given us some amazing creators. And specifically, I mean, Silver Sprocket.
Sure.
Silver Sprocket is a publisher, still a publisher today, that has just put out so much diverse material.
Sure. We just got a bunch of pins and stickers and patches in from them this week based on some of the properties they published.
Yeah. And, notably, Caroline Cash is somebody that has had a lot of success with Silver Sprocket.
Sure. Jen Woodall.
Sure. And I look at what Avi and his team has done, and I think that they are necessary and valuable in the industry.
Yeah, they do a thing that I want pretty much any publisher to do, which is feel like it's curated to a degree. Like, have it be something where it feels like it's an expression of someone's taste. Even if it's not one person, then it's like an ethos where you're like, oh, I get what kind of books Silver Sprocket.
They have an identity.
And I don't mean it in the sense of like, they all have to fit within one genre. I don't want that. Like, I love the idea that they could be kind of anything. But when you see a Silver Sprocket book, you're like, that's a Silver Sprocket book. You get it. You see it. And you know exactly who produced it. And, it's kind of a badge for these creators to then be like, oh, Silver Sprocket has good taste and they picked this creator to put a book out from. That's worth my attention.
Yeah, it means something when they have a creator you've never heard of before. Mm-hmm. It means they're worthy of your attention and looking into them.
Yep.
And also, the books they put out are usually a high quality. good designs.
Yeah, and also very fun art objects. Like there really is a sense of like they're making a physical object, and it should appeal to you on an aesthetic level before you've even opened up the book and seen what it's about.
And then 9 years ago, they took a step further into a commitment of the comics industry, and they opened a retail store in what may be the hardest market to survive in the United States.
Inside an active volcano. No, San Francisco. They were open in San Francisco.
The volcano might be easier.
Maybe.
They opened a store in San Francisco, and it was, a store and a warehouse and a collective.
Yeah, and other publishers have opened storefronts. Like I think Drawn and Quarterly has one. I think Fantagraphics has got one. So
the Fantagraphics one is a house.
Yeah. So other publishers have done that where they kind of had a storefront where you can get their books, but they can also host events. They can do other things. And I think Silver Sprocket, to my knowledge, also expanded out into other comics and other publishers.
Yeah, it wasn't just their books.
Yes, it was the Silver Sprocket store. It was a Silver Sprocket store.
I mean, you could get anything Silver Sprocket had available there, but you could also get,
we don't stock those here. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But they did a lot of other independent or small press comics and graphic novels.
Sure. Again, the sort of publishers that you would think would fit alongside Silver Sprocket.
Yeah. And it, from all intents, and I was never there. I don't think you've ever been there.
I've never been there, no.
It looked like a great store. It looked like a fun store. They had a good team. We've been part of events that they co-hosted or were part of.
Yeah.
And we've known Avi for years, and you and I both have Silver Sprocket tote bags.
We do. It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always make sure that we stop by the Silver Sprocket booth when they were at C2E2. Yeah, we really like what they do.
Okay, so as a store, their books were always available from a number of distributors, as well as from them themselves directly.
Yeah, I mean, originally it was Diamond, and then when Diamond went away, I think they landed at Lunar.
Yeah.
And then they've also had, you could pick up some of their stuff, the graphic novel-oriented stuff, I think at least from Ingram, but maybe some other places that I don't remember. I know that a lot of smaller press people are like Consortium, and we don't usually deal with them.
But we would always get their stuff from either Diamond or now Lunar. And regularly restocking. And it's not few and far between. In fact, if we were buying it from them directly, it would be way too long in between orders. In fact, that reminds me I need to do a TKO order. We just keep forgetting that we have to do it.
Sure.
Because that is a separate thing you have to do outside of the normal ordering cycle of everything else we get.
Correct.
Oh, man. Today alone, and I don't want to mention either company, but 2 different companies that we ordered stuff from, not comics, but stuff from.
Yeah.
Both today had mistakes that they had made that came to light.
I mean, I saw the one that actually maybe turned out into something where it's like, oh, this could maybe be a benefit to us.
Did you 100% see it, or?
No.
Okay. That was the other one. Okay. The first one was, hey, we sent you this invoice weeks ago. Did it go in your spam folder? Do you need us to resend it? And I'm like, man, did I not pay them? Because it had to be Zelle. And I specifically remember going through, and then I opened up Zelle. I'm like, oh yeah, no, it was almost 2 weeks ago. And so I had to screen cap both here's the transaction and here's the account balance. And then immediately, your things are shipping and here's your receipt and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like that should be, I didn't ask for anything, but like
you could at least acknowledge it.
Yeah. I mean, no, they did there was
oh, okay.
We're sorry. We're shipping it out right now.
Okay.
And then another one was, hey, we've been having problems with our distributor.
That's the one I said.
Okay. And like that's after me 2 weeks ago saying, what's going on with this? we paid them a while ago. Like, oh no, we had to wait for this to come in, and then there was a problem. And to be fair, they reached out today. It wasn't me tracking them down. I didn't read that follow-up email because they're like, hey, I think he said it as a joke.
I mean, it was a joke, but you were like, I don't know, tell me. And honestly, the numbers, I'm like, this doesn't seem so bad.
Yeah, I figured
We would have to talk about it, though.
you would be the hurdle.
No, it's mostly just like, what would we want to do with this? Because I would not want to do the same thing. It would be like, what other thing?
Yeah.
So it's worth thinking about.
Okay. I again, I have to go back and read that email and see the numbers for myself. But going back to Silver Sprocket, they had a store and people love the store, but it's hard to run a store in San Francisco. Brian Hibbs will tell you all about that.
Sure.
They have
one of the most expensive cities in the country.
Silicon Valley is like a country.
A little bit. Yeah. California is an expensive state, and San Francisco is one of the most expensive parts of California.
As we just learned, it's the taxes in California that drove Brandon Cutler to Florida.
To Florida, the state with, I believe, no income tax.
And over the years, Silver Sprocket has done some fun things to try to raise money. Like they sell memberships, different levels.
Yeah.
And every time they do a membership drive, I look at it and think, can we support them? And it's in my head. In my head, it's weird to be like, well, you have to run and support your own store.
Mm-hmm.
But especially during the pandemic, when things were going okay for us, we went to the websites of stores that we are fans of or friends of and bought gift certificates, like a couple $100 worth of gift certificates at several stores,
sure,
knowing we'd never use them.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even know we had them.
We don't physically have them, but we did wind up giving one to a former employee as a birthday gift. We're like, I don't know what to do. Like, well, we got these.
There you go.
And I don't know that it's ever been used anyway. And then there were stores that I wanted to help out that didn't have anything online like that. But anyway, so it's not uncommon for us to do that. But what I didn't want was a recurring membership. What I wanted was a
donation.
A donation, which, I mean, nothing stopped me from having done that, but there was no official.
Sure.
Anyway, I wound up never doing it.
Like some stores or publishers would do GoFundMes where it's just, you're not getting anything in exchange. It's just like this business needs money to stay afloat. Here it is. But other people went different ways where they wanted to make sure there was an actual like exchange of value. Whether you are buying something rather than you're just donating money.
When we did the Kickstarters for the Rogues Gallery, everything was, we don't just want money, we want to give you something.
Yeah.
And ultimately that is not in the best interest of raising money to support a project, because all that money you get goes to paying for tradesmen or materials or whatever.
Right.
And then you're also losing product at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
But to justify it in our heads as of to not just taking
And
money.
that's the whole thing, is just how do you feel about yourself as a business person when you're doing these things? Some people are completely fine just saying like, we need $15,000.
Yeah.
And just saying, this is what we need to stay in business. Please help us. Please donate. And other people go a different way where they say, okay, well, how am I going to make this of value for the person beyond just you helped me out?
Yeah.
And we definitely looked at it, at least for the Rogues Gallery and plenty of other times, the other way where it was like, I don't just want to ask for money.
And there were times that creators during that time period chose to help us out for no return and no gain.
Nice.
Yeah. But it's at a point now where actually it already happened. It was yesterday. Yesterday was Silver Sprocket store's last day.
Yeah.
They and a year and a half ago, they had a massive flood and they lost a ton of product in their basement and they needed everybody to come help. And like literally, if that was in Chicago, we would have been there.
Sure.
Maybe not at the same time because we have a store to run, but so they've had a lot of, aside from this cost of how expensive minimum wages and taxes are in San Francisco and rent and how the shopping districts change on a whim. Like the areas that were high traffic are suddenly like graveyards.
Yeah. Like we've heard of that plenty of times for stuff in the Loop for Chicago, where in the downtown area, like we opened a second store in what we thought was a bustling area, only to find out right before the pandemic that basically no one in that area goes outside and shops. And most of the businesses were relocating their employees. So even the places that we thought were going to be like, oh, this, media company that's next door is perfect for us. Oh, they got rid of the high rent for that and made everyone work from home and just sent everybody away. And then, of course, there was COVID, where then everyone was working from home and no one was leaving to go to stores. So that can happen pretty quickly. I am usually on the green line heading into the store. And when the green line hits like State and Lake, that kind of turn there, State and Lake is a train stop that is closed for the next 3 years. Not only is it closed, but there's a ton of construction going on for it. So I'm on the train, the elevated train, looking down onto Lake, and there are huge barricades pressing up against businesses.
Wow.
And I'm like, for 3 years,
Yeah.
you have like maybe a person's width of sidewalk, and you have zero visibility from the street. And I thought, if that happened to us, we would have to move. Like, we could not withstand 3 years
Yeah.
of no visibility.
I mean, the local Ace Hardware we used to shop at on Milwaukee that had been there for years, Gilman's Ace, they had to close due to the bike lanes. Once the bike lanes came up on Milwaukee and literally took half of the parking.
Yep.
And depending on what side of the street, it alternates the parking on which side. I can't remember if it's east, west, or north, south.
Sure.
Because Milwaukee is a diagonal street. I don't know what they consider which side. But anyway, directly in front of the store of their store, which used to be parking, which I could park at regularly, went away.
Yeah.
It wasn't terrible. Like, I could still walk there. It's not. But if you're buying lumber or, 2x4s or something.
Right. Something heavy.
Yeah.
And you can't park. That sucks.
And Gilman's had been there forever. And it was just the best customer service because the people there knew every nook and cranny of that store and knew where every type of hardware you needed was.
Yeah.
But the bike lanes took them out, and that's just losing some parking out front. That wasn't construction or decreased visibility.
It was just the couple spaces you had in front of the store are now gone. And now it's a little bit more difficult to shop at your business, so people don't.
We had to deal with construction issues our first couple of years.
Sure.
But, those are over, but they could come up at any time. I don't know. And you have no recourse.
No, there have been times where the blue line has been under construction of different kinds, where different stations are having work done for a few months or whatever. It's usually not as massive as like the State and Lake closure, where it's 3 years and they literally deconstructed the entire surrounding platform and are rebuilding it from scratch. Most of the stuff that like we'll see on the blue line is more like we're working on this side of it for a couple months and then that side of it for a couple months. So for like the summer, you need to take a shuttle bus around.
But from like midnight at Friday to midnight on Sunday.
Yeah, there's an understanding of like, you can't, like, it's a train track. You can't just like skip it or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, people have to be able to use it.
So that would mean shuttle buses parked in front of the store for all day Saturday, all day Sunday, with their diesel engines running.
They run nonstop.
And then, yeah. So you can't have the door open. When the door does open, people coming in, it's fills up the store with ethanol smell or whatever it is.
Been there.
And it's awful. Or the random times police pull up on the sidewalk and park in front of the store door, so you can't open the door more than like 8 inches. And like, why are, oh no, they have to do something. They're going after someone or whatever. But like, you parked on the sidewalk in front of our door.
Yeah.
You couldn't move up 3 feet.
How do people get out? Let alone get in.
I took delight in slamming our door into that car repeatedly. People could push their way in and out, but it's a horrible inconvenience. Yeah. Just move it 3 feet. There's the entire length of Sidekicks and Black River before there's another door that needs to be opened.
Yeah.
You got to park in front of our door. Anyway, that was a couple years ago.
And you're still mad about it.
Of course I am, because it's just stupid.
Sure.
It's the city. Who are they serving and protecting? Anyway, we're sorry to see Silver Sprocket go. They're still publishing. It's not changing. They don't have a store.
Yeah, and honestly, like the write-up on this, it's closing the retail storefront helps them as a publisher, because the retail storefront,
They're just draining money.
Yeah, the retail storefront needs its own dedicated employees. It needs to be open for certain hours of the day. Yeah, and I read some of Avi talking about how they needed to take out different loans to try and keep the store afloat. And it's like, I have been there.
Yeah, familiar with that.
That's like, when you're doing that, we've had to do that before, and you tell yourself that it's just like a temporary thing. Like, things are going
to get you over this hump.
Yeah, things are going to turn around, whatever. But it is such a warning sign. And anytime that we've done that, in retrospect, I always wish like we should have made massive changes right then and there. Because the problem then is that, you take out this huge loan, so you do that and you can, do payroll, you can pay taxes, you can fix whatever's wrong with the store, whatever. And it's like, okay, nothing has fundamentally changed your business model though. So it's not like you're making more money, but now you not only have to fill the hole that you couldn't fill before, but now you also need to do all of the money you just borrowed has to get paid back. So
and I'm sure there's interest.
Yeah. So it becomes even more difficult, which means you're taking out a loan even faster for more money. And it's like, it's a horrible spiral. It's very easy for it to get way out of control. And I completely understood when Avi was talking about that in the press release. I'm like, yep, you do it because you like, especially like that situation of you have employees at the storefront. You don't want to let them go. You don't want to have to stop paying somebody. You don't want to have to, fire.
Uproot their life.
Yeah, I don't want to say fire, but let go. Like, you don't want to have to say, I cannot afford to pay you anymore. You have to work someplace else. So you do what you have to do, what you think you have to do, which is, I'll take on more of a financial burden myself to make sure this person's taken care of. And it's like, you are only delaying the inevitable, and it's only going to get worse. So yeah, all of that. I respect Avi for hanging on as long as they did. And that super duper sucks. And I have been there and it's horrible. And I wish them all the best. And I hope like this change is something that's making the company more stable and helping their mental health. Like this all sounded incredibly draining for them.
I can't imagine what it would be like opening a store today. And I don't even mean a new location. I mean, starting from scratch.
You can't imagine what it's like opening a store in late March.
In 2026.
I feel like I got a good idea. Oh, okay. 26, yes.
Friday is the coldest day of the week by a lot, right?
Oh, man, I've been looking. It's insane.
30 to 39 is the
high for Friday is around what the low is for Thursday.
Yeah.
Springtime in Chicago, man.
Anyway,
did you hear how McDonald's is celebrating the anniversary of Challengers? A big K-pop Demon Hunters
Happy Meal
promotional thing. Happy Meal and a breakfast meal. Saja Boys versus Huntrix. Saja Boys is the breakfast meal. Huntrix is the Happy Meal.
Oh, well, then I forbid you from having breakfast at McDonald's for the entirety of the promotion.
Well, so it's like a breakfast Happy Meal, and it's like a spicy chicken biscuit thing, and I'm like, I would never do that.
Okay.
So I'm at no risk of getting the Saja Boys one.
Okay. What's the Huntrix one?
I don't remember.
Okay.
It starts March 31st at McDonald's everywhere. You will, I'm sure, have plenty of opportunities to partake.
Learn about it. Sure. But can you imagine trying to open a store today?
Yes. Why do you think it'd be so difficult?
Because, I mean, it's an unfair question for us to answer because we've been doing this. We know the market, the industry, and what it takes to do it.
Yeah, I guess I'm just curious what you think is so difficult about this market compared to like 2008. I don't see it as from here.
The competition for the entertainment dollar, the real estate costs, just everything, but it's been intensified over the years.
Yeah, I certainly like the economy is way worse. Although we opened in 2008 and the economy was shit then.
Yeah.
It's cyclical. The economy always is up and down. It's
just all the hurdles we've had to navigate in the industry over the past several years.
You don't think the strength
doing it all immediately?
Sure. You don't think the strength of like the publishing landscape is
I think that's a factor in the positive, but I think that, and again, take away the knowledge you have of the last however long you've been doing this, sir. I know how long it is. I just didn't say it because I'm leading up to
No, I understand.
to something
think
else.
For a lot, I would assume a lot of people who are comic fans right now, I think you'll see more stores opening soon. I think
Sure. And what's your advice to anybody who asks you about opening a store?
well, there's what we always say, but I don't know if I would say that anymore.
You just said it last week.
Don't do it. It's very expensive.
You literally just said it to someone.
Yeah, but at the same time, I will also tell people, and this is the honest answer, you do it because you can't not do it. You do it not for the money. There's no money in comics, in any part of comics. But what there is there's like, it's a fun job. It's not, frictionless. We're always getting mad about something. We're always snapping. We're snapping at each other about something or losing it with a customer.
No, we're not.
I only just recently said I almost punched a customer in the face. It's jokingly. I said it jokingly. I wasn't close to doing it. But
That was, you said recently, that was yesterday or the day before? It was within the last 2 days.
Was Monday. But it's still a fun job. Especially now, it's the last few days have been nuts with just the amount of people coming in, and they're all pretty excited about comic books. Somebody today asked me, they had 2 books on the counter. One they were getting, and the other one they're like, do you know anything about Middle West? And I'm sorry, Scotty Young, if you're listening to this. Do you know anything about Middle West? I'm like, I read the first couple. She's like, would you recommend this? Or I was also looking at Helen of Windhorn. I'm like, well, I love Helen of Windhorn. So if I'm picking between those two, Helen of Windhorn, which then there was a funny thing where I described it as like Conan, but from the perspective of Dorothy from Wizard of Oz. And that woman was like, what was that? Like, oh, Conan. Like, what is that? Conan the Barbarian? Oh, I'll have to look that up. Jesus Christ. Is Conan a dated reference now? I mean, I know it's like pulp heroes and stuff, but they still make Conan comics.
And there's in theory, there's an attempt at a new King Conan movie.
Shit.
It's like working with our latest hire, Kate.
Uh-huh.
Kate, who has a love of DC superhero books, but is slowly learning about everything else that's available. But she's a sponge and she's willing to absorb it all, but it's always, what is that? Let me write that down. Mm-hmm. So like their list of things to pay attention to is growing. Yeah, exactly. It's like Steve Rogers and
coming out of out of an ice cube.
The Winter Soldier.
To be like, oh, I guess I have to learn about all these things. And that's, I mean, not to keep transitioning,
because I'm dumb truck.
But that's what's been super fun about a lot of the people that are coming to comics because of stuff like the Absolute books, the Energon universe, whatever, the Ultimate line, is they have all of these excellent books waiting for them. And something like the Compact Comics, I'm seeing so many people, younger fans, super excited about these things. And it's not like we didn't have Court of Owls or Watchmen or these other things, but they see this format and it's $10 and it's like, why not? Which, changing up. On FOC this past week, there was a book from Marvel, Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Yeah.
But they listed it as a digest comic. I'm like, what is this? It's like, it's $10. Like, okay, well, what is the trim size? Like, what are the dimensions of this? 5.5 by 8.5. Patrick, do you know what size that is?
That is a sheet of paper folded in half.
That is exactly the size of the DC Compact Comics.
Is it?
It is. At exactly the price point of the DC Compact Comics. So I wonder if internally they're like, why aren't the Premier books doing as well as the DC Compact Comics? Well, they're $5 more and they're too big. So maybe do them smaller and for $5 less. So we'll see if that's just one book they're doing to take advantage of the 1 billion global views.
So what is Brand New Day collect?
I don't know.
Because they've got another Brand New Day on the way.
So this is the original, like, Dan Slott, Mark Waid, whoever else was working on it then. So I'm sure it's like 8 or 9 comics from that run, which they were, at the time, they were just doing like 3-issue stories. There's probably 3 different 3-issue stories from that, the first 6 months.
Hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this episode is officially our anniversary episode.
Yeah, it's going to drop a couple days before the 18th.
18th anniversary. Challengers is now
teen in life,
able to vote. It's funny because that's not the song I had chosen for the anniversary post for next week.
No?
No.
What is it? I guess I'll have to find out.
I mean, I'll tell you the title.
Okay.
18.
Okay.
But not the Alice Cooper version.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to switch it up a little. Also, I already have next year's song in my head.
Okay.
I mean, it was easy. When you go from 16 to 19, there's songs that have them all. Christine 16 from Kiss, 17 by Winger, or Sweet 17 by the Babies.
Rhett Miller and Old 97s had a song called 19.
Yeah. My 19 is a horrible song to use for anniversary, but it's the one that's always in my head.
Okay.
It's a war song.
Oh, golly.
Yeah. From my youth.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, 18 years. So the store can vote.
Yeah.
In fact, one of our long-standing family customers, their child just voted in the primaries.
Amazing.
And while they're not 18 yet, if you're going to be 18 by an election,
By the general election.
you can vote in the primaries.
Very cool.
So yeah, they're 18 years.
Crazy.
Does it feel like 18 years?
Ish.
I mean, it doesn't to me. 18 years feels like 18 years on paper is forever.
Like, here's the thing. I guess my answer would be the store doesn't feel like it's 18 years old, but I feel 18 years older.
Okay. I definitely feel older.
Uh-huh.
Parts of me feel new.
Uh-huh.
Parts of me feel brand new. But, I mean, I remember my mindset at 18. I remember going off to college at 18.
Weird. I don't remember that.
And the store doesn't feel like it's college age, you know?
True.
Yeah, I don't. If anybody ever says something like, did you ever think it'd be like this? Well, I didn't not think about it. I didn't think about it. I didn't think, what will it be like to be 18 years in? Like, no, just like, I think I'd like to pay rent next month.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, the day-to-day of it is so constant, and the weekly cycles of needing to do the same tasks kind of again and again. And the treadmill of that, and making sure that you don't fall off it and that things don't break down, keeps it from ever feeling stable enough to be something that you can kind of like appreciate. And I mean, today was the same thing where it's like, I came in and I had like a third to half of the pulls left to do. I had, a dozen people to pack up. I had online orders to deal with. I had emails to send out. I had people to help in the store. I had books to get ready. I had all this stuff. And it's like, there wasn't a point where I could just kind of luxuriate in the idea of like, wow, 18 years, we did it, top of the mountain. It's like, I got to do it all again. Like it doesn't stop. It doesn't, there's no less of it looking into the future.
Sometimes I am a little bit ground down by the routine and the regularity and the monotony of it.
Yeah.
But then I realized, like, if this was an office job, it would be that every day. Not every, like, oh, here's your Monday task, here's your Tuesday task, here's your Wednesday task.
Right. Yeah, I certainly like the idea of having to do some of the same tasks again and again. I don't mind it. I like a routine. I like a schedule. But the thing that I think makes it
Like
better,
it if it's a routine and a schedule.
the thing that makes it, I think, better than like an office job version of it is that, and something that I think we can take for granted, if not actively vilify, when we should appreciate it a lot more, get to talk to people all day. Like, you don't get to do that in an office. You have your coworkers or whatever, and maybe people that you have to like call on the phone for work. But people just wander into the store and I get to talk to them. That's pretty fun. Like, it's not always, the best conversations or stuff that makes me feel good, but sometimes, frequently, it is. And I get real excited about that. I enjoy that experience quite a bit. It's the most fulfilling part of the job. All of the other stuff is in service of being able to have those conversations with people, to tell somebody that Helena Winhorn is really good and she buys it. Like, that's great.
Okay, so I guess working with your friend means nothing to you. I got it. That's fair.
Sorry, did you work today?
18 years. That's fine.
If this is after Wednesday.
Wednesday is when I'm not allowed to talk to you.
Yeah. No, it is legitimately a joy to get to work with someone who I consider someone I once met. A very good friend.
I would say the same thing.
That I think is as dedicated to the comics retail landscape as anyone I've ever met, and someone I genuinely learned from still after doing this for 30 years.
I was out with a friend. Not you, I'm sorry. And it's someone I used to work with.
I know my memory's bad, but you don't have to tell a story like this if I know.
And he gave me one of the greatest compliments. And there's numerous times over the years that people have told me something that I said to them that stuck with them and positively benefited their life. And usually it's a thing I never remember saying, but I don't doubt them.
The thing that you said to me that I'll never forget is ghosts aren't real, but poltergeists are. And I was just like, Jesus.
Yeah, I made it. I had not been proven.
I have not gotten a good night's sleep since then.
Sorry.
That was 28 years ago.
But
Thanks, Patrick.
This person is younger than I am. And he said what?
Mike, believe all the time.
He said that, and it wasn't a specific thing I said to him, but it was an attitude I had when working, is that if I didn't know something, I was never afraid to ask a question about it.
Sure.
Like if somebody was mentioning something and I didn't know what it was, I'd say, well, what is that? And that he's like, that's when I learned that there's no shame in not knowing something.
Sure.
Because you get to learn it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not cool to be like, oh yeah, I know what that is when you don't know what it is.
Right.
You know, like philosophy. But
what is
it is something that, and it's, again, I don't remember this specific occurrence, but I always remembered
to get a TED talk that wasn't
right. Yeah.
It was just the thing.
It was something that he learned watching me over the years. And it is something that I still do today. If somebody, how often do you use words I don't know what they mean? And I have to ask you.
It's mostly common writer stuff, but I see what you're saying.
That's fine. But I mean, like, or a, I don't know, an organization, or I'll just say something like, I don't know what those words are you just said.
Sure.
And to me, that's never like
it's not a failure.
No, but it's also not like a goal or it never stood out to me as a thing that was noteworthy.
Right. Or like an active way of living your life that you were putting forward. It was just common sense.
So it's kind of neat to have that kind of an impact.
Sure.
And frequently I will recommend brands of things that I wear or whatever. And over the weekend I was with someone and I looked at their socks. I'm like, I know the sock. They're like, oh yeah, no, I buy these now. I'm like, yeah, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's neat. It's like, hey, you know, the things I do for myself.
Did they use Patrick 15 at checkout? Yeah.
You know what? Maybe I'd reach out to that company and be like, hey guys,
seriously,
how about some sponsorship over here, huh? Yeah, I'll just take it in credit.
Yeah, right.
It's fine. But you don't know how to talk. The impact that we can have on people's lives after 18 years is still positive.
Yes.
I mean, no one's tired of us yet.
Crazy, right? People come in all the time. 2 people today, first time they've ever been in the shop.
Wow.
See the store all the time. Never had a chance to come in before. Somebody was picking up C2E2 tickets. Somebody else was just like, I just had time now. And it's like, this is great. Which is another reason why it never feels like however many years it's been of Challengers, because we're still getting new customers. We're still getting people moving to the neighborhood, people moving to the city. Again, people that have lived in the neighborhood for years that just finally stopped in or finally noticed us. So it's that aspect of it keeps it fresh, I think, in a way that, you know, if you were doing another job where you're just kind of in one location for 20 years or whatever, it would feel a lot more stale. And that's not even counting like the new books every week, which is a huge factor for keeping things fresh, is something else new to be excited about, some new story, some new creators, some new company, and being able to kind of pass that along to people. It's books that didn't even exist 18 years ago, companies that didn't exist 18 years ago. Like, I wouldn't say creators that didn't exist 18 years ago. The hell they existed. They're not that young, but still.
Well, congratulations on 18 years.
You too, Pat.
And here's to more. Maybe not
exactly 18 more.
Who knows? Who knows? When we were talking last week about the specific comic events that have happened as we were reading them, that inspired some comments online. And I want to relate to you what Mitchell from All Star had said.
Mitchell Webb.
The books that he remembers that are tied to events in his life, like specifically, he remembers the books from like because their stories, Mitchell and Troy are like you and I. They work for somebody else, open their own store.
I assume for them it's just the X-Men Outback stuff. Like that's the only thing they had, right? Is that it?
So racist, geographicist.
There's an Animal Man one that I think is from Invasion when they're in like Australia. Is that it?
But like the books that they like their first shipments of their store. But one of the key books that Mitchell had an anecdote for was Fantastic Four. I think it was 587 during the Jonathan Hickman run.
Okay.
Steve Epting was the artist.
Sure.
It was the issue where the Human Torch dies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That was the Marvel has to kill a character every quarter.
Yeah. Yeah.
That era.
So he had his anecdote as to why that book was important to him. And I had said like, yeah, that's a great story. I'm glad you shared it. Unfortunately for me, that book has a very specific negative connotation from an instance where somebody was in on maybe a Saturday and we still had the book, but we were limiting that Fantastic Four to one per person.
Sure.
Now, if you remember, it came bagged.
I don't.
Because of the death, they told everyone somebody dies, but they bagged it to keep it secret.
Okay.
So this guy had come in.
Here's a quick aside. I didn't love that Hickman FF run. I was not reading it then.
Okay.
I started with like the Daily Eagle Shem, like first 3-parter, and immediately thought, I don't like this. And then hysterically, like Hickman would go on to be one of my favorite Marvel writers across a whole bunch of different things. But the FF stuff, I'm like, no, I'm okay. Anyway.
So a guy comes to the counter with a stack of books, and he had 2 copies of that FF book in there. And I said, oh, hey, I'm really sorry, but we have to limit it to this one per person. And he just stares at me. I'm like, if we didn't limit it, there'd be none left on the shelf today. So you can only get one. And he puts his hands up. He goes, okay, and steps back as if I'm pointing a weapon at him, saying, okay, and just turns and leaves. And Jill Thompson, who was there visiting, said, what about the rest of your books? Because he had a, pile of books.
Sure.
I'm like, man, what a weird reaction. Immediately gave us a 1-star Yelp review. Talked about the attitude in which he was chastised for trying to buy multiple copies. And he's just doing it because it was bagged and he wanted one to read and one to keep safe. But this wasn't the first time he'd gotten all this attitude from challengers. And I'm like, I specifically remember that I didn't know who he was. So I was being as polite as possible to be like, hey, I'm real sorry. I started with, hey, I'm real sorry, but, blah, blah, blah. And it was just this, like, Human Torch joke intended, just this flame review of how bad we are and how he'll never shop with us again. And to this day, because I looked it up to quote it for Mitchell, that's still the only review that person has ever posted on Yelp.
Interesting, right?
Yeah. And
somebody doesn't even use like a review platform is like, I got to get on there to say how bad this is.
Right.
Okay.
And I emailed that person to say, basically, hey, I know we've lost your business and I'm sorry.
Right. This is not to make things right or
right.
You bad.
But you said this isn't the first time. What else?
Yeah.
What other thing had happened? Never responded.
Nope. Didn't want to have a conversation about it.
Yeah. I mean, there's that brought me to some of our classic 1-star reviews. One where you just tore a guy apart.
Yeah. There's been a couple times where like, usually if we get a 1-star review, I would say 99 times out of 100, not that we've gotten 100 1-star reviews, we've gotten far less than that, but they usually have a story attached to them.
Yeah.
Where like either we can intuit something. There was some early stuff where a shop that was open up like 6 corners, so a train stop away from us, that it had been open before us. That was further away. They were on like North and Ashland, but they moved eventually a little closer to us, so there was not a lot of space between us.
Yeah.
We were very new, and so we were suddenly getting these negative reviews, but it was always with the challenger's bad, you should go to this other local shop. And so it was like, okay, so this is just like we are their enemy somehow, which led to a customer who'd left them coming to us at one point and saying that he had not come in for a while because he was told that we were secretly a graham crackers location that was opened up in their neighborhood to put them out of business. And it's like, we really weren't. And also they moved closer to us. So I don't know what to do about that.
Wasn't that also the guy that they basically stole a bunch of money from?
But that's a whole different
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, some of the other reviews, like you will see things where there was one where we got this weird review and it was like, I came in with a backpack and they tore it off my back and they wouldn't let me have it because they were like, you're stealing. And then we looked at I'm like, I don't even know what this is. You and I had not had this interaction with anybody.
And that has never, ever, ever happened.
Right. So we looked at the other reviews this person had posted because it's usually what like I'll do.
Yeah.
And I'm like, who is this person? Are they a crazy person? And sure enough, it was like they posted like 4 terrifying 1-star reviews for different comic shops in the neighborhood, except for one comic shop that got a 5-star review. And it's like, okay, great. Or people having weird personal issues that we are like in the blast radius of.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But usually when we see one where it's like, oh, I know who this person is and I know what they're trying to do, you and I will have a little like, who's going to take this one?
Yeah.
Because we both enjoy the idea of, okay, you started something with this and now we're going to finish it.
There was the one about you because you asked someone to stop charging their phone because they just sat out on the floor and plugged in a charger. And you're like, don't do that.
Yeah. We're stored.
And they could not understand why you could possibly tell them not to, because they do it at every comic store they go to. Mm-hmm. There was the one that said that I went apeshit on them once they told me that they were only in getting a list of books that they wanted to torrent, when that categorically did not happen.
No.
That is not like, and you took that one and you did great, but also that person was very unkind in their descriptions of employees.
It was great.
And then Yelp got it removed, so they immediately went and posted another one. With
that one went viral.
Yeah.
That was like, basically there was a Reddit thread, a subreddit.
Like about entitled customers.
Basically, yeah, people posting weird entitled things on different review sites. And that one, people ran away with it. I had friends of mine send that to me and be like, did you know this is on Reddit? No, I did not. Okay, cool.
There was one negative review we got that I earned.
Which one was that?
It was a day as I was unpacking in Sidekicks, and there were a bunch of pop vinyls, and a younger person came in and was like picking up the pop vinyls, and I'm like, those aren't for sale until tomorrow. Put that down. So they objected to how I snapped at them.
The tone.
And I did snap at them. I 100% snapped at them.
It's weird that you never got a 1-star review for the time that you told a bunch of kids that you had personally murdered Santa Claus. That was over the line.
Yeah, they had to learn that Santa's dead.
It was weird because it was like July. I'm like, all right.
I don't know how we got off into different reviews.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, because you were checking it to Mitchell Webb.
Yeah, stop calling him Mitchell Webb. That's
wait,
that's not funny.
It is to me.
18 years.
18 years, Patrick. Congratulations.
Thanks. The older the store gets, the more tragedy befalls the comics industry. And we lost Sam Kieth this week.
We did. That was sad.
Sam Kieth, who's not that much older than I am. Although, just yesterday, in an article, I guess I'd never, ever seen Sam Kieth before.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, that's what he looks like?
I always assume that Sam Kieth looks like a Sam Kieth drawing.
I can't, I'm not going to describe him.
Oh, look it up.
But it was unexpected. But Sam Kieth was never one of my favorites, but I always respected his contributions. And I first got to know him with the Sandman run of the 80s because he co-created that character in that book. But early on realized, hey, this book isn't right for me, and asked to leave. And that's when Mike Drinberg took over. And Mike Drinberg was my favorite Sandman artist and never did anything since then.
He sort of looks like a Sam Kieth drawing, but not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing about Sam Kieth that is crazy to me is the number of people that still come in asking for the Max.
Yeah.
And it's like, there has not been a new, like, real new The Max comic. I know there's a Batman thing like 15 years ago or whatever. But in 20 something years. And yet people will come in asking about it. And I have to say, no one has the rights anymore. IDW had done the Max Remastered books. They're pretty much all out of print. There's like one that's maybe still available somewhere, but it was like a 6-volume series. And yeah, I can't get you any of them. Like, that's it. And it's weird that book is not in print. And hopefully, the legacy of Sam Kieth can be celebrated by getting those books back into print so people can read them again.
I never got into the Max, but I did have the Max action figure back in the day.
Yeah, it's a fun design.
Yeah.
It's kind of that Frazetta Vaughn Baudet sort of fantasy art thing.
He did love like big hunched shoulders.
Yeah.
Here's a quick interlude where we thank our Patreon supporters, including our annual patrons, Usi, Arun Singh, Becca Hilburn and Joseph Coco, Brent Helt, Dow's mom Diane Bush, Django Borin of Comic Shop Assistant, Jose and Genevieve Villagomez, Josh Crowley, Taylor's version of Josh, our bestest wrestling watching buddy, Michael Lee, Michael Romanenko, Silverio the Cat, and our patrons who have created their own tier, Andrew, Drew Troit Aaliyah, and my cousin, Claudine Neville. Also, our other generous Say My Name pledge level patrons, Ben-Hur Benedict Calaguas, Managed Comics Own Brian Garside, Christopher and Jessica Haith of Crooked Dog Comics, Drew Triner and our very own Ashley Edwards, Gareth from Monkey Rocks Comics, my brother George Brower, Heidi D., our beloved comics niece, Holly Aitchison, Jacob Sorelli of Kamikaze in Tel Aviv, Israel, Mark Hammond of All Yeah Comics, Margie, Keith, Logan, and Malcolm Springham, Matt Armstrong, Mitchell Davies of All Star Comics in Melbourne, Australia, and I'm guessing Troy as well, Morgan, Kaiju, Harry, Nicholas Fenner, my longtime pal, Robert Burns of The Divorce Gun, Ron Payne, Sean Bowers, Tad Eggleston and Johnny Williams, Thomas Nagovin of Century Guild, Walt Grogan, Walt's Comic Shop from Berlin, Germany. If you want to hear your name thanked monthly on this very podcast, in this very voice, head over to patreon.com/challengers and pledge at the $5 Say My Name level. And a big thank you to all our other patrons. Now, I know technically it's still March when this goes up. So putting the patron thank yous in now is like a week early.
Yeah,
but I had just redone them all. So the file was still open on the desktop, so I'm just going to use it.
Okay.
There were some changes to it.
Sure.
That I needed to go through, and then I went through and just figured I'd re-record it. And as I re-recorded and as I'm listening to it back, there was a weird burst of static and a weird crackle in another one.
Oh.
So then I had to redo 2 of them and drop them in. So one of the things was, I'm not David Harper. I don't do the roll call live every episode.
Okay.
And we only do it once a month, but it's pre-recorded. Everyone can tell. It's fine. I
wasn't accusing you of anything.
I'm saying that but as new people get added into it, the sound quality is different for certain names because some are new. They're all recorded at a different point. Mm-hmm. But these 2 that I had to redo and drop in, I did it exactly the same way. There's still enough of a difference, I think, that you could tell.
Okay.
But maybe not. But I'm so annoyed. I'm like, what? I didn't mispronounce anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was all measured. I took the same amount of time in between each one. I slightly changed up the things that I say. I gave half the people have not an anecdote or a caveat, but a descriptor to their name.
Mm-hmm.
I feel bad for the half that don't, but I don't know. I don't think anybody minds that much.
Probably not.
They're not nicknames, but I mean, sometimes they're nicknames, like for Arun, but they're not necessarily if somebody's from let's say a comic shop in Berlin, I'll mention that kind of thing.
For example.
So yeah, I updated it, and I am annoyed that it may not sound as fluid,
Or fluent.
as I would hope that it would be. At the time this goes up, our C2E2 panels will have been over. So thanks for attending those, if anyone did.
Sure.
You especially, thanks for coming to the manga one.
Oh, you're welcome, Patrick. They were informed I had to, or I'd be fired.
In fact, I gave you the decision
I said I'd go.
of us doing it at all.
Oh, yeah. I didn't realize that was one of the options. I'm sorry. I thought it was just, you'll do it, or we'll both do it. And it's like, well, I'll go too. I didn't realize one of them was no one does it.
It's too late now. We've already said yes. It does, in fact, change the entire shape of our Friday, my Friday specifically.
It definitely tipped me over from maybe I'll go Saturday too. I'm probably going to go Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
As a result, I have 2 different other plans to get those Guri Hero prints from Kyle. So I'm not going to bring a portfolio on Friday.
Okay.
That's just one less thing to have to drag around and lug around and be it.
Sure. And like you'll have a car there. So like if I'm with you and I get something and I'm like, I don't want to carry this anymore, I can just go to the car.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not the end of the world. It's not that far a walk for me.
Yeah, for you.
For me.
I know that's why you said it. That's the correct way. But we'll still have, depending on how quickly people listen to this, Sunday may still be on the table.
For you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially depending on how much I don't get to do on Friday.
Sure.
But my Sunday philosophy is always, or strategy, I should say, my Sunday strategy is always leave my house at 2. So when I get there,
Everyone else is leaving.
yeah, and the parking will be a breeze.
Sure.
Last year I got like right by the doors.
Yeah. When I go Saturday, I just take the train there and back.
Sure.
So as long as it's not raining, be fine.
And then I've got, a couple of, like 2.5 hours. So I make use of my time. And last year I just wound up talking to all the same people over again.
Funny how that works.
Yeah. Yeah. Funny how there's artists that we know who are setting up who are not even listed on the C2E2 website.
It's not great.
Then we had to reach out to say, are you not coming to this? Like, no, I'm going. You are not mentioned at all.
I couldn't find you on the list.
Yeah. And they don't know why. For the panel that I'm on the road from the road to retailer, like a comic book's progress to get into stores. That was the one where the moderator, Ted Eggleston, had said like, oh, here's a form you can fill out that can get you a pass if you need it. But also here's where you put in your bio information. I'm like, oh, bio information. So that's I do have a photo on the C22 website.
Oh, very cool.
With a small bio. And that's the only one. The other 2,
yeah,
because the manga one was too last minute. And the Comics and Metal one, I was originally a no until the time became earlier, but they'd already submitted everything.
Sure.
And then when the time changed, I'll be honest now, I think they don't need me because I think they have enough people on the panel.
Mm-hmm.
But
committed now.
Yep. Same answer as before. But yeah, it should be fun. Every year I look for a C2E2 where we can just go and leave when we want to. Because those used to exist.
Sure.
But now every year we just keep adding things up, and we're busy Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night of the show.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, fine that we want to be doing those things.
Yeah. And like when I'm doing them, I'll be having a good time.
Yeah.
We're doing dinners with people. We're going to parties. We're meeting up with folks. And it's like, that'll be fun. It's this exciting to do. But yeah, I mean, when you look at it from just a few days away, it's like, Jesus Christ, that's a very busy 3 days.
Yeah, specifically Friday from 9 a.m. to 1 a.m.
Wow.
That is my schedule.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. But let's hope I can do it. I have already told myself that there's no shame in tapping out.
But like tapping out when you're at your last place, but you don't stay the whole time. Not that you wouldn't even go to the last place.
I may not go to the last one.
Okay.
Look, man, there's a lot of mitigating factors.
I get it.
If it was more of a smooth, look, it's as smooth as it can be as far as the location of the second and final events.
Sure.
But the time frame is,
It's still late at night. You had a whole day. I get it.
but it's just like getting to it, like if it was, all right, I'm going to leave this, go right to this. Like, no, you need to stay at this to its end and then go to the next thing kind of thing.
Sure.
We'll see. We'll see. And you know what? By the time people listen, it'll already have happened.
Yay.
So who cares? And thanks for listening.
Keep reading comics.
Dan hasn't been said here today to send a very nice, very thank you from Challengers Comics. And as a bonus, Dan shall send his gratitudes by cursing our enemies.
This has been Contest of Challengers. Thanks for listening. Keep reading comics. Challengers is located at 1845 Northwestern Avenue in the Bucktown neighborhood of Chicago. 773-278-0155. Keep up to date with new releases and events at challengerscomics.com and help fund this podcast at patreon.com/challengers.